Expand on that. I am going to say share all your social there's you don't tell your story like straight about and then you want to make sure they're seeing oh my god. Um, oh, yeah, water. This is so red. Start with memory. Hi, I'm Greg. Oh, so, guys, I, so I have 1,000 stories to tell about, but what I think it's very first thing is just how freaking generous. All of them. He's so generous. One of my first great experiences with Halloween was my wife and I and Halloween went to Alinea. If you know food, greatest restaurant on the planet at the time, it was number one. It was for my birthday. And Tony and I, we imbibed a little. We used to drink a lot. And still do. But we were starting to get into bourbon. It was kind of like we had gone from scotch to bourbon. And he presented me with a bottle of Happy 23. $5,000 a bottle at the time for my 50th. I mean, let's just, might not be 50, my wife's again, I drink. But no, that's just purely generous. Always, it was always generous, always giving. Uh, one more little quick story. I remember when he threw me out of his house after I had a divorce and moved in with him. But he's, he just was so generous, just the most generous guy in the world. Um, but right about that time, there was a party at his house, and some of you were there. Actually, we decided to do a vodka tasting, and me and Tony went out and bought every bottle of vodka that was on the shelf of the liquor store, and we blinded them all, and we had everybody had shots of each of the I think it was 7 or 8 or 9 of the vodkas. By the third one, we couldn't be safe. And then we all loaded up. Tony had the greatest ideas. He was just a joy to be around. fun loving guy, and I'm gonna pull up. How's everybody? My name is Ed Leslie, and I'm with our box now. So, feelings are great. You was my archives are shooting. And Grace, like, yeah, one of this guy, his name is Tony, he's a box man. Okay. Tony is a random taco. He picked up Greg, myself, the cousin who and his brother Victor, there were five of us at the side stage. Tracking over the Tony's taco. We were destroyed. We're driving down 26th Street in Bridgeport, and Tony turns on the radio, and rap music comes on. And my cousin Victor is like, turn this rap stuff off. Because we got this CD container, grabs the CD, and throws off with it. We get up to said, Austin Street 26, and Tony goes, wait a minute, I gotta check my CD. Victor, that's my animation CD, drop it up. So we turn around, parked on 26th Street, front, five drunk people looking for a CD. We couldn't find it. Ultimately, I think you found it. It was between the curb and a tire of a car, standing right. And it was a perfect shape. So place, yes. It was one more. So stories. One more quick story out of Lake Zurich. I was making dry piles in that yard with cheddar pizza and one. And somebody in the ocean, let me make one. She took a little like, and she put a little on the floor, no joke, and went up, went like this, made a turn, go back to the house. Tony, sorry. Yeah, my his head exactly. But I'll stop. Tony, I'll make you better. Oh, oh, good. You're welcome. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Grant. I had the pleasure of getting to I'm going to try and file. So, that was seven. Thank you. I had the pleasure of getting to meet Tony through during your running in the South. All I heard about was how great Cousin Tony was. Cousin Tony could get us tickets to any show, and they were always the best seat house. I remember picking up tickets one day, and we met on the side street in Palatine, and met Tony. And the first thing that I thought to myself was, this is the coolest guy in the world. He reminded me of Demol from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And my goal was to get to meet that friend. So the years go by, I just know it's a little bit better. Watching the Sopranos, doing epic health outings with everybody, doing tasting, all kinds of fun stuff. The one thing that always stood out is that anytime he came to his house, he always had something in mind. He always had something. And it was always, he was generous. Um, I'm gonna miss Tony at that time because every single time when my goal was to have him as a friend, he was always present for me. Always. He's not related to me, but he's always been present. So I just wanted to say to Colin, thank you. Tony was just an amazing life. He's generous, you know. Anybody else have to say that? It's all on. Good.
Okay. Hi. Hey.
Kaylee, Kaylee, Kaylee.
Um, I had the pleasure of being one of Tony Mason's nephews. As you can imagine, Tony is a human and as a friend. Um, putting him as an uncle just made him the ultimate best friend for the couple. Um, I realized is six of us, his nieces and nephews, and all our lives, and with every Christmas party or every family gathering, um, having Tony there made it hard. Having him there just made it the most fun, the thing that we all look forward to. As kids have the most incredible memories of his sister, us where he so generously hosted us. We made a kid thriller series called Paranormal Activity. You guys should check it out on YouTube. Um, Hair, yes, PEAR, paranormal. So we were haunted by a haunted pair around this house. And he, of course, was completely okay. But he, it's one thing to have had him just idolized as this really fun uncle all the way much. And it's another thing, it's like as we got older, as we became adults, like being able to have an actual relationship with him as just a friend too. I recognized like, oh my gosh, this person is way more than just a fun uncle. He's just a human. Um, and just you taught us, at least me, I think I can speak for all these kids, just to have fun in life and not taking it too seriously and experience joy and food and people and celebration and be silly and play. Like he's the only true family member I can think of that was always playing with us. Um, so it's so, I mean, celebrating him so hard and also just so deeply heartbreaking that he's just got to walk through these doors because I know he would love that so much. But I feel like in so many parts of me, all the parts of me that are playful, all the parts of me that want to have fun and experience joy, I know those are just Tony. Um, so in order to remind that always myself and my brother and my cousin Eric, we got these sun tattoos. So I don't know if you remember, but he had his sun and moon tattoo on his shoulder, and we always just thought it was the coolest thing. He was the first person I knew with tattoos when I was younger. Um, having him and just to me that I can wake up every year and look at every day feels really special. And I just so deeply appreciate all of you for helping him and for just being such an incredible friend, brother, or husband, or brain can't think of any other relationships right now, but if I missed you. Um, so yeah, and I I feel the love for him so much in this room, and I think it's just a beautiful way just to continue to celebrate him, and I hope we can always continue to celebrate and make it. Thank you so much. I miss you. We all love you so much, Joe.
Good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you about Tony. So my name is Dan Kelly. And Tony and I work together at SEMA Packaging. So I've been with Tony the last 10 years. And Tony is going on with the sales person at SPAMR, I'm the CFO. Normally, those two roles wouldn't really collide, but as you know, sell that developing relationship. So in the office, we would talk about his customers, life stories, that type of thing. So as I was reflecting on my relationship with him, one path, and in three areas, first of all, passion for his customers. Tony got to know his customers as intimately as possible. You know what their goals were, what their needs were, and he excelled at figuring that out, and then also what the solution to those problems were. The second area of passion would be his love of travel and entertainment, a luxurious thing. So those are always great stories to hear because he gave me an insight into all these cool things that are out there that I wasn't aware of. So that was, and then of course, lastly, his wife, specifically in terms of customers, there were three that came to mind: Acer, Cilantro Grill, and of course, Giordano's Pizza. And he was doing some things with their take-home boxes that are really cool. But the point of these three are that he was so involved, so passionate. When he would come in the office occasionally and he would talk, you know, and I'd ask him to open it and talk to us. Tell me what's going on, what's going on with this account, and he would just play right in. And you could tell the sense of pride and satisfaction he got out of all those relationships and helping those different customers out. The second example I had mentioned about the travel and all the finer things in life, bourbon was on that list and previously mentioned. So he had taught me about this Jefferson Ocean, which is a bourbon that they put on the ships in the oak barrel, switches around for a couple of years, goes going all over the ocean. And he thought it was so cool, and of course I had to get something to confirm that, you know what, that's damn good bourbon actually. He loved so much his family. He was like the biggest advocate for this Happy Man Michael super special bourbon. I never had that. So, and lastly, the travel piece. So he was a part of the third home outfit that they could travel to different homes domestically and outside of the U.S. And they took full advantage of that. In fact, Tony was gracious enough to allow myself and my family to go to a couple of these different home venues through his relationship with this household. And it was really cool. One of them was a condo in Miramar Beach, Florida. And we had our own elevator going into the unit. And I can tell you, my kids who were young at the time thought it was the coolest damn thing ever. But we had our own elevator going into the unit. So anyway, a couple stories here just to illustrate how I was my relationship work with Tony. And that was his passion for life and all the things that I mentioned. I think that's a perfect legacy for him, and it's something I'll always remember about. So, telling you I'm really hard this morning, very hard. So thank you for the opportunity. It's a pleasure to do it. Thank you all.
Anybody else like to say a few words? All right. If it's not loud, move the mic closer. Oh, that's the trick.
Tony's sister Tina. Yeah. Oh, I'm just gonna lighten the mood a little. I just have a little story that probably no one here knows. When Tony was born, he looked like a monkey. So he had the obsession with him, monkeys. He was obsessed with monkeys. Old County, and it makes sense why we moved to Costa Rica. The monkeys. All the stuffed animals were monkeys. He was attracted to paintings. He just loved monkeys. So when I was about 11, 12 or so, I right at the age of my own Christmas presents for your own family with your own money. Took babysitting money, and I found monkey salt and pepper shapes. I'm like, we have to get this for my brother. I gave it to him. I'm right to the Christmas. He goes, what am I supposed to do with these? I don't even cook. I don't know how to cook. I don't like them. Lo and behold, he turned out to be one of the most amazing cooks. And those of you that are lucky enough to have had a meal made by Tony, so he was wrong. And another story, I will need my sister Karina's help. When we were teenagers, I was the oldest, and my mom would travel to work and say to me, all right, I'm gonna be gone for these 4 days, no parties. It was my job to make sure no parties. Not only did my brother throw epic parties in high school, the guests arrived in a bus. And so in our driveway was a school bus. Karina, I need your help. So a school bus would show up, and I opened the door and like, that school bus has to be, I'm gonna get in trouble. And of course, she was part of this. You took my score. Karina. So yes, they did arrive with us. And yes, Tino was supposed to be watching on. And she was so upset and so mad. So she ran and took the phone, went upstairs to my bedroom, and her mom was in Colorado at the time. And she was trying to call her to get her home. Now she is in another state, and we're just like, yeah, she called. And it was just that how Tony was. And he included everybody. No matter if you just know he was just he took you for me personally, he took me under his wing. I mean, being his little sister, he allowed me to go with him, tell his buddies, tell his friends, and hang out with them. I mean, come on, some little pesky sister hanging out. But he didn't care. And he always did that. I miss him. Always love him so much. And thank you everyone for coming here and celebrating his life. He really had an amazing, amazing life. One more thing. Applause for Tina too, because she started the conversation. Team.
All right, anybody else? All right, well, it's a turn of the wheel. We're gonna have some good live music for us today, hopefully. But Lucy had some fun. If there's anything you need, let me know.
Why? Oh, yeah. See ya. It's not that you should have done this. So easy. What's this? What's this? Well, wait, hold on. I'm not thinking about you. What me?
More shares?
Yeah, it's not loud. Really. Oh,
Most people don't know why. Just. Snort.
Hey, happy Saturday, everyone. Is it even Saturday? I don't know what day it is. These last 2 weeks have been a roller coaster of emotions, I'm sure, for everybody. And yeah, I came a little bit late, but I just want to say hi. My name is Dave Rosario, and I am Tony's first cousin. And yeah, I guess I'm up here talking about some stories of Tony. So I made a list, which it's going to start off a little bit odd because the 70s were an odd time. You know, I told my parents, why was I born in the 70s? They should have waited until 1980. I'm much better as an 80s kid. But you know, my mom and dad, they couldn't wait. They just, if you know them, you know what I'm talking about. So let me pull up my list here. And I brought some props too, because that's what I do. So yeah, I used to go to Antique Donos, and Tina Tony Trinas when I was a kid a lot because we lived close to them and my parents would drop me off. So one of the first memories I have with Tony is being in the bathtub because that's what boys did back then. They could bath together, right, Robbie? So I think. And we played army. So we had these little like army men that were plastic, and we put them all along the side of the tub. And then when we shoot one, it'd fall off into the water. And those was like one of the first memories I have with Tony was like playing army in the bathtub. And it was really cool because he was my older cousin. So like I always wanted to do stuff that he wanted to do. He was 3 to 4 years older than me. And so another thing we did a lot was we played race car in the bunk beds. So 1900 had these like golden plates on the walls. We'd always like rip them off and we'd use them as steering wheels. And we would have these double decker cars and we would race. I don't know where we're going, but again, what was cool about it is because we had to use our own imagination. We didn't have a screen telling us what to think, act, do, and feel. Had to do it from our hearts. So that's what was really cool about always being around Tony. And he was so resourceful even as a kid. Like I remember when he got his first camera, he would throw a ball and I would dive to catch it. And he was trying to take a picture of me like diving in the air while I was catching it. So to say that my side wasn't a little bit beat up for the next few days because I just kept falling and it really just worked. So we did the best that we could with this. So here's a prop that I brought. So this is the first Kiss album that my parents bought me back in 1979, and it was because of my cousin Tony that I really enjoyed the band Kiss. Um, he got me into them, and my parents ended up taking me to a Kiss concert at a very young age. A little bit, maybe I was a little young to be listening to what these dudes were talking about, but look how good I turned out, right? So Tony really got me into Kiss, and it was like the first like exposure I had to like real rock and roll. And then he would play like Ted Nugent, just like really authentic, expressive guys that didn't give an S about what anybody else thought. They just were their authentic selves, kind of like Tony, right? So it was when I look back these last few weeks, months, it was interesting what he was into and how reflective it was of really him. So I got to know Tony more as I got to work with him over the years. I remember him being up in Michigan for a sales job. He went up there and I'm like, why do you live up here? Like I just drove 4 hours to go see you. It's because he was dedicated to his sales and he was dedicated to growing his business. and he went where the business was. So he ended up going up, and I don't remember if he was selling like lubricants or something, but it was way in the middle of nowhere. Lubricants for machines. I know what you're looking over. Yeah, it's daytime, right? I mean, we can say what we want. So that really made me realize like how dedicated Tony was to what he was doing, and I admired that. So I did end up working with Tony for many years in the packaging and box business. I'm sure there's some people here that know him from there, and we grew a lot together. And at that time, we also disagreed on a lot of things. And to this day, I always appreciate how we could disagree and still be friends. We just didn't agree on everything. And as time went on, um, there were maybe people that we dated that we didn't agree with. I mean, I don't even know what that means, but there were certain things. I was living a lifestyle that was not the best. Tony was doing things, and there were times that we just kind of didn't get along, but it wasn't bad. It was never like there was never an argument. There was never anything personal against each other. It's just something we disagreed with, and it hurts me to this day that sometimes we didn't talk a little bit more um, about some things because I always felt like there was that little bit of an open loop in the background, kind of like an app open draining your phone of the battery. Like I kind of felt like there was just that little bit like maybe we need to talk about these things. Well, I hadn't seen Tony for 3 years. The last time was in Arizona, Fountain Hills. I didn't go down to Costa Rica and see him, but I was really happy that he was going down there. It was a very Tony-ish thing to do. And again, I admire how he went for what he wanted as a person, as a salesperson. And again, I might not have agreed with Tony all the time, but it didn't matter. What mattered is he still cared about me. He still showed love. And he was a teacher, and I admired what he did not only as a salesperson, but mostly as an older cousin. So just to close out, um, I want to say that, yeah, so there was something that really, I remember one conversation, and I'll close out with this, where we were discussing business and sales and where what we were going to do next. And there was kind of like a tipping point. Um, Malcolm Gladwell, a tipping point. There was a tipping point where we were wondering like what we should do next, or what should we do on our path. And at that point, I realized that we were going in different ways when it came to this. But I also think that again, part of the disagreements is what created a stronger bond between us. So what I look at moving forward and carrying on the legacy of Tony is number one, um, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness. That's something. And most of the time I don't even ask for forgiveness. But that's one thing I learned from it. Another thing is that you always have to take that step out of your comfort zone because if you don't, you're never going to grow. Um, I was trying to find a picture of me and Tommy Lee and Tony. Tommy Lee is the drummer for Motley Crue. We were all at the Metro in Chicago. We were all arm in arm. And we got backstage partially because I had a radio show and partially because Tony just knew how to get us backstage. And this picture of us, it's, man, look what we were doing. So the other thing was there's disagreements going on in the world today, and you see a lot of tribalism, and you see a lot of he said, she said, and why can't we still just listen and understand each other even if we don't agree? And that's the one thing that I learned from Tony, and I'm going to take for the rest of my life. I might not agree with some of the people here. We may have gotten in difficult times here or there. It could be with my parents, it could be with some friends, but it doesn't matter because we're good people and we're going to just other and we're going to learn. So that's the big thing I want to carry on with the legacy of Tony. And man, one thing that's really bummer right now, we used to get really good tickets. And I can't get good tickets anymore. So if anybody has a ticket connection, I'd really like to know, because we were always sitting like fifth row center. But I kind of wanted to end off on a light note because even though he used to wake me up at 7 in the morning to buy tickets at my place, 'cause I had high-speed internet, he'd wake me up, his diaries together. He always meant well. He always took me, and he will always live on with me. And I will do my best to carry his legacy moving forward. So thank you all for listening.
I just want to say if anyone broke their thing at your table still, if you can raise your hand and I'll That's it. This is Becky, Tony's friends.
Hi, I'm Becky Wilson. So we know Erin County and Tony from my girlfriend Erin. This is her aunt and Shannon. And we had the opportunity to travel with them several times. And my husband and Tony had a secret relationship. And pasta and gravy. My husband is Italian, but he's really not. And so yeah, they bonded. And I just want to share with you guys today that my husband created his name, and it's just these three initials you need to remember, and it's TIS for the Italian stallion. So I just wanted to share that he will always be missed by us. He meant a lot to us, and he certainly meant a lot to my husband. And so we will treasure the Italian stallion.
Two. You have one that was written one sweet. That's my girl Courtney. This is Tony's niece Courtney. She's the salted. Okay. I can't get through this picture. So I have this short context. Colleen and I have been in I'm sorry. Have been in book club together for many years. And we have selected numerous books over that. At a party with her, at a party with our spouses, my husband and I were sorry. My husband and I were with Tony and Kelly. And Tony mentioned that Tony didn't read many of the books, but she had never in but she had never one in particular in record time and then brought all the sequels. That book was 50 Shades. That book was 50 Shades of Grey. Still brings a smile to my face every time I think of it. Very sweet. Sorry if I butchered that. Well, while I'm up here, yeah, talk. But I'm Tony's niece, Courtney. He does not have any to ask for. I remember going to his house for sleepovers with my mother and sister. And we really drool and pick out little mom would always get okie doke, cheesy popcorn and donuts. He would go back to his house, he would sit on the counter and do whatever he wanted. Obviously, if you get home, our parents were probably like, oh, of course his Uncle Tony that Tony that. And he was just so fun and always made us laugh. And I remember this one time my family they went to the Walrus Room in Chicago during the Christmas time. They had like a tree in there and everything, and there was obviously a long wait. We didn't have a reservation. And I still don't know if this is true or not, but he went up to the hostess and was like, yeah, I know the cook, like just seat us, cook, like just seat us. So there we were, and he sat right away, I had to wait. And it was just like things like that. And again, I don't know if that's true, but I always believe it. I've told so many of my friends that, and they're like, so it's just things like that. He was always the bigger or biggest believer in everyone's dreams. And if I hopes is going to be school, he pushed me so far and always taught me to just go through whatever you want. He also did that with Tommy when they moved to Costa Rica, it was their biggest dream. They thought it was pretty sad. Obviously, I went to go see them in October, and it was just so lovely seeing him and Colin just living out their dreams together and being just amazing people and adapting to the life there and not trying to change anyone's ways or live there. So just being one amongst them all, it was just great. Miss you. Tony's definitely going to say a few words. He's going to tell us this epic story.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tony Scott, and I'm going to tell you the inside story about Tom. When he was little, he grew his hair very long, and he looked like a girl. And everywhere we went, they would say, "Oh, your daughter's so cute." I said, "Listen, it's not a daughter, okay? It's a guy." So we were walking back home, and I was thinking to myself, "You know what? Maybe he is gay. I gotta live with have to live with it, and just make up my mind to myself and I'll live with it." And as we were walking, there was a mud truck with dirty money balls, and he had his clean clothes. We stopped, he jumped in, he got soaking wet. I said, "Dear God, I love you. He's not gay." And that's when I knew he was a real son. And he was the greatest son that a father could ever. And if any of you are fathers are here with your son, hug your son and kiss him and tell him how much you love him.
Anyone else?
So I'm Erin, I'm Colleen's. Well, he is also. The first time I met Tony, went to the White Sox game, and it was myself and Colleen on the halfway to St. Patrick's Day. We're sitting in the scout seats and start talking to this guy next to me. And I'm like, "What do you do for a living?" He goes, "I sell boxes." I go, "I have a box." And he stopped. He couldn't talk. He was like, "Da, da, 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 da." Yes, this is.
Hi, everybody. So Tina and I were probably the best, so we going out to dinner with Tony and Colin. And I remember the first couple times we went out to dinner. I got an education to dinner, because I thought I did really well to dinner. When you get into the table and sit down, you don't order wine, you order certain types of wine at the very beginning. So the white wine, and you have dinner, the red wine with the dinner, new thing. Next thing, appetizers. You don't pick. I want this. You order all of them. Probably have time. Come on, right now. Time to have dinner. Everybody has the best, but you can't just order one thing. You order one thing for everybody, then you order a couple to share. So, I'll never forget, he taught me at dinner how to eat dessert, and then at the very end of the night, you just think it's over. Tony's behind the bar, making drinks. So nobody died like him, nobody was a friend like him, nobody was an influence like him. I don't think we know too many people like Tony. So he's very missed, and God bless Tony.
That's so true. Tony would always on appetizers, and I mean also for entrees or appetizers for everyone to look. There's appetizers that were really entrees. You're ready to go home. Come on. We have always 2 more stops, right? Costa Rica. 2 or 3 more stops. This is Tony's other Tony. Anywhere? Yeah. Tony's great.
Hello, aloha, and hola, Saturday. Thank you for the introduction, Holly. As she said, I'm Tony's cousin Tony. But more importantly, Tony's roommate, dear friend, and brother in this game of life. My memory of Tony and the Ganges go back to childhood. Fond memories of visiting the Ganges house abound, from haircuts from Tina to playing with all their pets, cats, dogs, parrots, cockatoos, African greys, everything. It was a proverbial zoo there. Sleepovers, playing frisbee in the front yard, and honestly, just the simple pleasure of young boys. Fast forward to freshman year of college at SIU, Southern Illinois University. What would happen? Tony's roommate found different accommodations, and he immediately got the approval of the agent or resident assistant that I could move in. All I could say that that was the best semester in school ever. Tony's creativity and zeal and sense for life was apparent back then. And you guys are noticing, all of you guys are hitting on his creativity, his love for life. And, so he was born, honestly. And I was introduced to him intimately that particular semester. A few examples, okay? We made dorm room pizza, dorm room spaghetti and meatballs, all right? And it was Tony's idea to have a meatball rolling contest in the hallway on the campus, okay? But here's the kicker. We were on our hands and our knees, and we could only use our noses to move the meatball around the hallway. Of course, there was rock and roll, okay? We blasted Sammy Hagar, Bad Company, The Who, Rush, and many other bands from my 1,000-watt Fisher stereo system, louder than the threshold that our ears can hear. Hence, my future hearing aids. That semester, we had an incredible experience sharing a live rock concert at SIU Arena. Maybe this is where his love for concerts and arenas sprouted. I'm not sure, but none other than Sammy Hagar and the Red Rockets themselves brought on the roof, and almost figuratively in my mind. It was the most incredible sharing of college, having just, friendships, cousins, bonds together, that it was just an incredible time. So incredible, okay, that I smashed my watch on purpose because I did not want the experience to end. So I turned to Tony and then I said, look, time just stopped because I wanted that moment to last forever. A huge smile came over his face, a huge smile. We all know that smile. It's right there, look at that. And he, you know, we could not stop laughing after the concert for days and really weeks to come. It was just an incredible experience. After college, you know, I moved to Seattle, Washington, and Tony went back up to Chicago, you know, to start the next chapter of his life. Decades transpired, a half a continent with the Pacific Ocean as well came between us. But our friendship and our love and our respect for one another endured. Although we were apart, we were never truly out of mind. Tony was truly a self-made man. You know, he worked hard, and I'm sure sometimes to Colin's dismay. He persevered and he accomplished so much in his life. All of this despite the adversity and criticisms and the naysayers that he ran into throughout the years. Okay? He, you know, always I'm sure had the back of his mind that he never got his college diploma. And that was not going to stop Tony. Tony was driven, he persevered, and he was just an incredible man. And like I said, I knew that he was going to be a successful businessman. He had so much passion, so much passion. He was so passionate as he flipped through the Architecture Digest on his Lake Zurich home coffee table. And that was the first time I was introduced to his creativity. It spilled over into a different endeavor. This endeavor had to do with building homes and his creativity. And I'm just amazed at the way that he could look at something, at, you know, some drawings, some plans, a house, and in his mind it was completely different. And he would just upgrade it to the max, to the tone, honestly. Okay? And this venue is beautiful, and this is a place to honor the memory of Tony Danch. So, to sum it up, when I think of Tony, these virtues come to mind. Okay? A man of integrity, supportive, respectful, responsible, driven, funny, maybe not funny, maybe hilarious. And last but not least, loving. I will miss you dearly, bro, Tony. I love you. And hold a seat at that table in heaven for me. Because not only me, but everyone there is going to join me. So, thank you all. Appreciate it. About a month and a half, Colleen contacted me. She texted me. And she texted me a poem. And the poem was from this gentleman named Ray. Okay? Now, I haven't met him, but Ray is a Costa Rican friend. Okay? And from how I hear it, is that Ray and Tony's birthdays are one day apart. Okay? And there was a bond between them, playing, you know, doing activities, playing pickleball. And we all know how competitive Tony was. You guys had your own stories each and every one, right? So Colleen sent me this poem that Ray wrote. And it's a special poem because Ray is actually an author. He's authored at least 3 books of poems. And this will be in one of those books. Okay. And I feel blessed and honored to have Colleen ask me to read it. And I actually noticed, I've seen it laminated around the venue today. I think he changed a little, a couple of lines, but we'll see. But anyway, I'm gonna read it in Tony's honor in front of you. In glass shorts and stripes, at a White Sox game, Tony met Holly, and his life was never the same. Welcoming their people and family they would share. In Chicago's embrace, their underlying love filled the air. In their luxurious home, spent with pride and delight, laughter in every room shines so bright. Sharing meals and adventures around the sun. Their journey of love, life, and legacy had only begun. His passion for food, willing to travel far and long, from cozy nights at home, Costa Rica's pride. Funny and competitive, in sports and games each stride. Being around him always felt so alive. The beach called Tony with waves in the sand, dreaming of paradise and building a home so grand. In all of Costa Rica's beauty, they found their place, hand in hand, together life's challenges they face. In a blink of an eye, he was gone from our life. Such a sudden, unimaginable loss for his wife. The grief is heavy, our hearts are shattered more. Missing his present, belief in the future is torn. We honor the memory and the life that he gave. Tony, Gavin, Angie, forever remembered his brave. His spirit lives on in all our hearts he touched. A man so warm, he will be missed so much. Thank you.
Um, so desserts are on the table, there's coffee, there's still open. That wants to step outside and eat with it. We have a butterfly. They come outside, give you a little envelope. Slow stones. Provide a flying butterfly. It does. So come outside if you want to cook, please. Not restricted to heat and stuff. No worries. Just stay put. So, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, I need 10 more minutes. Someone reminded me. Yeah, I need 10 more minutes. I'll take the ice off. Rush tomorrow.
Excuse me, everybody. Can I have your attention? The butterfly release, the butterfly take place now, so follow, now for the butterfly. Thank you very much. If they missed that, butterfly release is gonna come right outside, so go ahead and follow everybody out. But at least the butterflies and then turn up the music and try right here. I'm not some more. You already have some more. Oh, that's good. Oh. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, a special talk with a stripper, Tony Scott. We so have some friends that she was one of us. Whatever the room, it's the fight for forever. See, shine, too much water. Battles on the we simply help hearts and breath to take like good time. Boy, from the start, make the truth, just like a past, still possible and more. Boy, you get promise. Good. When you walk, you know, it's so well, then you have it's free. Oh, last. So I live with so tomorrow. Oh,
Tony's mom still, Tony's mom wanted to be a little bit more than Abdul was fully Italian, but she says he's now Polish, and she wanted to play a country song for her and Tony's sister. So either way, we're here. They all said we're gonna play the country song for. Is she coming? Is that what we're doing? Tony's mom. She wanted to hear the country song. Anybody else want to come on up? This book is for Jordan's wife, his sister. I asked her if that, everybody thinks it was fully Italian, but he was Polish, sure. All right, is there anything else on here? Let me know. We will have some friend here, celebrate for Levy County. We'll be there for 6 o'clock, so like 3.5 or so. Ready to go. I really need to tell it. What's the story? They got all us stuff.
It's so
Is that $2? Good, good. All right, we got any comments coming now? We'll start off to,
I will hold some we sit there, it's not alone. Oh, it's wonderful. Oh, and I will do it. We show and such and it's further just that as long as you and it keeps brings comfort and so 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 son-in-law music and he found all the good things in my so I'm real you know that see just if they're Bible get 10 back is like he is there way all around with me Sarah back take to come look at the life is there so like how like